We're going to go ahead and get started. So today we have our theme. We're spelling out leaves this week, so we'll do that today, Wednesday and Thursday. But we're going to do 3 rounds here today. 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest/transition time. Last week we did a lot of lower body stuff, so I'm going to try and incorporate a little bit more upper body things today. So I'm going to go ahead real quick with our demos, and then we'll get right into it. So first movement here we have, so we're spelling out leaves. So we're going to start with single leg lowering. So we're going to be on the ground for our first 3 movements here, or first 4 movements. So we're starting off with single leg lowering, so both legs in the air, coming down one leg at a time. Exhale, use the core, come back up. So that's going to be our L. And then for our E, we're going to flip over onto our hands and knees or hands and toes. And we're going to do some eccentric push-ups. So hands underneath our shoulders, screw our hands into the ground. And then we're going to lower ourselves nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. Onto the ground and get up however you need to. If you want to push yourself up and you're going to challenge yourself, definitely do that, especially if you're on your hands and knees there. So that's our E. And then we're going to stay on our hands and knees, our hands and toes. We're going to do plank arm raises. So starting off here, if we're on our toes, you can bring your feet a little bit wider. We're going to exhale, raise one arm overhead, keeping our core engaged, zipping our core up so our hips are not moving side to side. We're on our knees coming up this way. So that's our A. And then for the V, we're going to do V-ups. I know we did this. We did this at some point. We used to V. For this one, we're going to do one leg at a time. Or you can either do the full ones like this. You can do one leg at a time. Or you can do them like this. So whatever feels good for you. I know my hip is a little funky, so that one doesn't always feel the best. So kind of work with that. We just really want to be working on the core for that V. And then we're going to go ahead and stand up for our final 2 movements, which are going to be pretty similar but different. So the first one is we're going to do an eccentric squat. So we're going to be feet hip width apart here. We're going to lower ourselves nice and slow. We're going to do 1, 2, 3. Push the ground away as we stand up. If you want to make it more challenging, feel free. You can hold a weight or a dumbbell underneath your chin, like a goblet squat, and do it that way. And then finally, we're going to finish off with staggered squats. We're going to alternate here. So for a staggered squat, we're going to keep all of our weight on one foot. We're going to be on our other toe. So you can have your foot a little bit behind you here or directly out to the side. Kind of find a good foot placement for you. We're going to squat like normal, but we're pushing off of one foot instead of both. And then we'll switch to the other side. So right now, I'm on my right toe. I'm just pushing off the ground with my left foot, but my right foot is helping me with stability there. So that's going to be our full workout for today. So we're going to go ahead and get started with a quick warm up here. So we're going to start at the top of our space with the world's greatest stretch. So we're going to interlace our fingers. We're going to grab onto one of our knees, pull our knee towards our chest. Nice big deep breath. And we're going to exhale, step back into a reverse lunge. Our hands are going to come down on the inside of our front foot. We're keeping our back leg nice and straight here. Nice big deep belly breath. And we're going to exhale, opening up towards our front leg. Thumb is going to face behind us. We're looking at our hand here. Breathing into our belly. And we're going to exhale, plant our hand outside of our front foot. Bring our back foot a little bit closer and push our hips up into a hamstring stretch here. Again, breathing into our belly, breathing into the tight areas here. And we're going to go ahead and exhale. Push the ground away and stand on up. Awesome. We're going to do the same thing on the other side here. So we're going to interlace our fingers, grab it onto the opposite knee, pulling towards our chest. Nice big deep breath. And we're going to exhale, step back into a reverse lunge. Hands are going to come down on the inside of our front foot. Keeping our back leg nice and straight. This is going to help us open up our hips for our squats. We're going to go ahead, exhale, open up towards our front leg, gazing past our hand. Thumb is facing behind us. And we're going to exhale, plant our hand outside of our front foot. Bring our back foot a little bit closer and push our hips up into our hamstring stretch. Nice big deep breath here. And we're gonna exhale, bring our feet together, push the ground away, and stand on up. All right, next up here, we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of plank to pike, kind of open up our calves and work on our shoulders a little bit. So go ahead and make our way onto the ground on our hands and toes. And then from here, once we're in our plank position, we're gonna go ahead, push our hips up into a little bit of some down dog or pike position. We can kind of pedal our heels back and forth, opening up our legs, opening up our upper back. And then we're going to come back down into our plank. We're going to push up into pike, back to plank. 2 more coming up and back down. And last one, we're going to push ourselves up. Then we're going to go ahead and walk our hands towards our feet. And when we're ready, we can go ahead and stand up. We are ready to rock and roll. So starting off on the ground, we're going to be on our backs. We're going to do 3 rounds of this, 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest / transition time. Getting the timer started here. 3, 2, 1, and go. So on our back, starting with single leg lowering. So legs are towards the ceiling. Bring one leg down. Exhale, come back up. So when we exhale, we want to act like we're breathing through a straw. Our ribs are going to come down and together. And if we act like we're zipping each side of our 6-pack up together, so we're bringing our core together, exhaling, pulling our leg up. If you're starting to really feel it in your legs or you feel it in your back, try to come down and not as far. So if you're coming all the way down to the ground, but your form is off or you're using your hips, stop a little sooner and then come back up. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we're flipping over onto our hands and knees or hands and toes, whatever feels good. And we're going to do some eccentric push-ups here. 3, 2, 1. So hands directly below our shoulders. If we act like we're screwing our hands into the ground, it's going to help with our form here. We're lowering ourselves. 1, 2, 3. Chest and hips hit the ground at the same time. Get up however you need to, and then reset. So we're going nice and slow. If you have the strength to push yourself up, definitely do that. I know I can do that if I'm on my knees, but from the toes, that's definitely, I think we all know that I don't like push-ups at this point, but we want to also make sure that when we're coming down, our hands are here. Our elbows are staying nice and close, so we don't want to be all the way out here. We want our elbows in and coming up. Oh, time's up. Sorry, we're done. Take a rest. We got plank arm raises next. So this one's really going to test our core and our arms together. 3, 2, 1. So same concepts here, screwing our hands into the ground. Either hands and knees or hands and toes. But we want to act like we have headlights on our hips. They're going to face the ground the whole time. Our core is engaged. So again, exhaling, zipping our core together. Breathe through our straw. And then raising one hand at a time. Making sure that our elbows are far away from our ears and our elbows. Oh my goodness. Our shoulders are far away from our ears. We're just using our shoulders to lift our arms up and keeping our core engaged, trying not to rock back and forth. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have our V-ups. So like I said, you can do it one of a few ways here, finding what works best for you. 3, 2, 1. So we can either be here with our hands behind us, extending out and in. We can be doing the full ones where we're here doing 2 legs, or we can always do 1 leg at a time. Or would it be this way? So again, whatever is more comfortable for you, whichever one, actually this one feels better for me. Whichever one you feel it more in your core, that's the one that I would like you to choose. I'm definitely feeling this one, my core. 3, 2, 1. All right. We're standing up for our final 2 movements. So we have eccentric squats and then our staggered squat. 3, 2, 1. So feet hip width apart, toes pointed forward. We're squatting down. 1, 2, 3. Push the ground away and stand back up. Again, still keeping our core engaged here. We want to drive through our heel, big toe, little toe. We're going to feel it in our glutes and in our quads here. But definitely focusing on going nice and slow. Our knees are tracking past our second toe. Chest is staying in the middle. And again, if you would like to grab a weight or anything to make it a little bit more challenging, feel free to do so. Great job. 3, 2, 1. All right. And now we have our alternating staggered squat. So again, we're pushing through just one foot. Our other foot is on the ground, but we're not pushing through that foot. 3, 2, 1. So choosing whichever foot we would like to start with, coming down just like a regular squat. So from this angle, all right, it does seem a little dark in here. I might have to open the blinds a little bit more. So what happens with the time change and it's overcast, all the fun stuff. All right. But we're just really pushing off of the one foot, breathing as we stand up. But if you notice, my form looks very similar to my 2-foot squat, but we're here. So I'm just pushing through one foot. Great job. 3, 2, 1. All right. Round 1 is done. We're going to start off again with our single leg lowering on the ground. 3, 2, 1. So legs in the air, coming down, exhale, back up. If you are starting to feel it more in your legs than in your core, again, come down a little bit, not as low. But also, if you really focus on moving nice and slow through the movement, really focus on the mind to muscle connection. I really want everyone to really have the most intent here with the movement. So really focus, use your core. 45 seconds is 45 seconds no matter how fast or slow we move. So we want to get the most out of it. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have our eccentric push-ups. We're getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So screwing our hands into the ground and lowering ourselves nice and slow. This by focusing on the eccentric portion, that will help us really build the strength to be able to do more push-ups versus do it on our hands and knees every time. Because we're really practicing the movement, and the slower we go through the eccentric portion of the movement, the more muscle fibers will recruit, which will help with our strength. So that's our goal here. Great job. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have plank arm raises. So this one, hands and knees or hands and toes. If you feel yourself rocking back and forth a lot, definitely drop down to your knees if you can. 3, 2, 1. All right. So coming up here, again, we're keeping our core engaged. Breathe through our straw. That's why really in any movement, not just in these or push-ups, we want to make sure that as we're contracting our muscle going through, that's when we want to exhale. So right now for these, while we're here, for our breath purposes, we inhale, exhale, lift up and back down, and exhale as we lift up. So that's going to help us with our muscle engagement. It's definitely going to help us engage our core. In this case, 3, 2, 1. But that's kind of the breathing pattern we want to have. So for the V-ups, we'll exhale as we bring our knees up or our legs up. We're getting ready here. 3, 2, 1. So again, we can choose whichever one we'd like. So again, you can do the 2-legged, you can do one-legged this way, or doing the one with your hands behind you and you're crunching this way. So whichever one you are feeling in your core the best, for the best engagement, I would like you to choose that one for yourself. It's going to be a little bit different for everyone. We all have different bodies. So kind of pick which one feels really good for you. 3, 2, 1. All right. Standing up, we have squats and then staggered squats. And then we got one more round. Then we'll cool down and we'll be on with the rest of our day. 3, 2, 1. So feet hip width apart, toes pointed forward. We're coming down. 1, 2, 3. Push the ground away and back up. So again, if you'd like, you can grab a weight if you have one, a dumbbell or like a water bottle or whatever you have that's weighted if you'd like. Or you could always even go more than 3 seconds, or you can start to make it harder by doing 3 seconds on the way up. So right now, going off of breathing patterns, we want to exhale as we push the ground away to stand back up. So we can inhale down and then exhaling as we stand up. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up, we have staggered squats. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So I like to do these because it is like a single leg movement without it being a true single leg. So it can help us still with our stability within the movement, which can help us get stronger within the movement versus like doing like a single leg squat or a split squat or something. So this is why I like to incorporate things like that a little bit, because we do get like the single arm stability with the plank arm raises, but sometimes it's hard to do single leg things. So that's where this comes in, or like the staggered or kickstand Romanian deadlifts that we'll do sometimes. That's kind of the method to my madness there. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last round coming up. We're back on the ground, single leg lowering. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So it's our last round, so we want to try and make it the best round that we can. Inhale down, exhale up. Keeping up with our breathing patterns. It definitely helps with the movement when we do have proper breathing patterns. Is that definitely when we can breathe while we're moving, that means that we own the movement. That's our goal here. Again, what is the intent? We want to feel this in our core. We need to move slower, move slower. It's actually harder if you move slower, honestly, which is not a bad thing. 3, 2, 1. All right. Done with that for today. We got push-ups, last round of push-ups. We got this. I know I do not like push-ups, so I'm happy this is our last one. 3, 2, 1. But sometimes we got to do things that we don't like or that we're not good at to get, 1, to get better at them, but 2, to prove to ourselves that we can do hard things. And I always like to say, if this is the hardest part of our day, then we're gonna have a pretty good day. So great job. Finishing strong with these. If we've been doing it from the knees, definitely want all of us on our toes for this last round, trying a few of them out. Try and really just control your weight on the way down. We got this. Chest and hips hitting at the same time. We want to try to avoid plopping on the ground. 3, 2, 1. All right. Done with those. Check it off our list. Done for the day. We got plank arm raises next. Mentally prepare myself for back to back shoulders. We got this. 3, 2, 1. Trying to incorporate more upper body this week. Like I said, though, with the stagger squats, this movement is a lot of single arm stability, especially if we're on our toes. We're holding up our body weight with one hand. So it's definitely going to help us build the strength in our shoulder that we need for stability, which is always important because our shoulder joint is so tight and not very strong. So our arms are only connected to the rest of our body from our collarbone and our muscles. So we really want to make sure that we're building up that strength, protecting our joints, protecting our shoulders. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, done with those. We got 3 more movements and then we're going to cool down. We're going to be on the ground for our cool down on our sides. We'll do some pretzel. So we do a lot of shoulders and legs. 3, 2, 1. So we got V-ups. So either doing them this way or the other 2 ways. So I think we all kind of know which one works for us the best right now. So sticking with that. I also know that everyone knows V-ups as something different, I feel like. So you can always go with your definition as well. So it's a choose your own adventure exercise, whatever feels good for you. If none of them feel good, then we can always do some dead bugs instead. Because that's still going to be working on our core. 3, 2, 1. All right. Done with those for today. We got our 2 squat movements and then we're done. We'll go back on the ground. All right, eccentric squats here. 3, 2, 1. Feet hip width apart, toes forward. And we got this. We're trying to go as low as we can while having our good form. It's too fast. Almost. All right. But like I said earlier in the class, if you're going to go to the other classes this week that I'm teaching, we are swelling out leaves this week. That's our theme because it's officially fall with the rain. November, the time change, the leaves are all changing colors here. So if you have any other themes you'd like me to focus on, 3, 2, 1. If you have themes, let me know. Or if you have specific movements you want to get better at, let me know as well. I can start adding more of those in here. All right, staggered squats. 3, 2, 1. Just turning with one foot, coming down, and then switching. It's our last movement. Want to make a count here. Trying to be mindful too when we are doing this. This is not a split squat or a lunge, so our foot should not be that far back. We want it to be as close to our 2-legged squat stance as we can make it. So that's our goal here for this. Awesome. We're finishing strong in our final few seconds here. Making the most out of it. Great job. 3, 2, 1. That is it for today's circuit. So go ahead, grab a sip of water if you need it. Like I said, we're going to be on the ground for our cool down. We're going to do some pretzel here. So we're going to go ahead, make our way onto our side. You can choose whichever side you like here. We're on the ground, on our side. And if you need to grab a pillow or something for your head, feel free. We're on our back. Oh, sorry, oh my gosh, on our side. Our top leg is going to come up, over, and across our body. Knee and ankle on the ground. Bottom hand on top of our knee. Right, yeah, top hand grabs onto our bottom foot or ankle. We're going to inhale to prepare. And exhale, bringing our top shoulder towards the ground. And we're going to slow our breath down. I'm going to inhale in through our nose into our bellies. And exhale through our mouth, sighing away all the tension we feel built up in our body. You can also start to just really picture our muscles relaxing. Let our body sink further into the stretch. And let's do one more breath here. And as we finish our exhale, we can gently release our foot. And we'll go ahead and roll over onto our other side here. So same checklist on our side. Top leg comes up, over and across. Knee and ankle stay on the ground. Bottom hand on top of our knee. Top hand grabs onto the bottom foot or ankle. We're going to inhale to prepare. And we're going to exhale, opening up, bringing our top shoulder towards the ground. We're doing this one for our cool down to really work on opening up our chest a little bit, getting some rotation through our spine and stretching out our hips and our quads. Tie away our tension with each exhale. We're going to do one more breath here. And as we finish our exhale, we can gently release our bottom leg and feel free to stay on the ground, or you can return to a seated, kneeling, or a standing position, but that's going to be all the time for today's class. So thank you for joining me. Hopefully got a good workout in, did a little bit of everything, but I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon in another class this week.